Hello Malaysians, my name is Professor Dr. Muhammad Tajuddin Muhammad Rasti, and in today's video I would like to talk about the KKB election in which Malaysians reject the politics of race and religious extremism as well as the childish politics of vengeance. So we have seen how in the KKB recent election that the DAP candidate had won over 4,000 majority votes. And this has shown that the maturity of the voters in KKB to reject such things as race and religious extremism by PAS, as well as the politics of vengeance, both by MCA as well as by such people as Professor Ramasamy and his new political party. Now let's deal with one of the categories first, which is the race and religious extremism. How did it fare with the voters in KKB? We see first that Ahmad Fadli, member of party PAS or political party PAS, giving the idea to the Malays that electing a candidate from DAP with a background in vernacular education, Chinese vernacular education, is something that needs to be considered very, very carefully. Now, his statement came in a sense that it could be interpreted as playing on the racial card, as if someone who is Chinese have gone to a Chinese vernacular school, therefore unfit to be leading in Malaysia, especially unfit to lead Malays and Muslims. The DAP candidate then showed that she was a very good student with all A's in the SPM result, and that silenced the issue of once and for all. After that, we see PAS bringing in the big gun Abdul Hadi Awang, as well as some of those former UMNO members like Anwar Musa, coming in to play, first of all, the religious card, or also the race card, in which frightening the Malays again about voting in a party that may turn Malaysia into another Singapore. Now, I am not sure what is wrong with turning Malaysia into another Singapore that has great harmony, good environment, as well as great policy against corruption, with a strong economy, as well with a strong currency. Why must we be afraid for Malaysia to be something like Singapore? We are definitely not going to be all like Singapore, but it is all right or even better to be with someone that has some good characters. Certainly, we will never be totally like Singapore. That is unacceptable, of course, because we are different and they are also different. But the point here is that playing this kind of racial as well as religious card, implying the idea that Malays cannot trust other non-Malays to lead to the point that they will govern the Malays, or it is something that is not religiously good for Malays or Muslims to consider that giving leadership to people who have not the Islamic religion to be untrustworthy. Now, with that being said by Hadi Awang, he needs to explain the corruption case of the Menteri Besar of Police and his son. They are being accused of mismanagement of 600,000 ringgit. And the case seems to be pretty strong, even though we cannot decide whether both are guilty or not. But we have also heard things about the Menteri Besar of Terengganu selling pieces of land to none other than his wife for a very small sum of money, with the land being of extremely high value. So such things that says that non-Muslims will change the country into something that is not good needs to be reflected in the mirror for past leaders themselves. We also see that the idea of racial politics and also religious extremism in the case of the KKB with Akmal Saleh, how I did not see at all Akmal Saleh appearing in any of the ceramah. I'm not there, so I'm not sure whether he actually appeared. I did see Lokman Nur Adam or the likes of Ashraf Wajdi, but I did not see Akmal Saleh. And so it was a good thing that UMNO did not perhaps feature Akmal Saleh, who seems to be the hero of the Malays in the KK issue. So here again, it was a very good part on UMNO not to feature Akmal Saleh, because then the issue of race and religious politics will come to the fore, and the voters, especially the non-Malays, may not like what is being featured. Now we come to the politics of vengeance. I was very surprised that a veteran politician like Siong, when invited by the DAP to campaign for the KKB, an opportunity to bury the hatchet, Siong seems to be taking a childish position of saying, you know, they said this to us, they said that to us, and now they want us to be with them to help with the Chinese. Now, this politics of vengeance is a really unprofessional thing, because as long as we are human beings, there will always be something that others have said about us. If we were to hold on to that, then nothing must be done or nothing can be done with regards to development or progress. We need to go beyond that. I mean, if you are a family, you know what your children have said to you or even your wife, but if you hold on to it, and as the Malays say, ungkit means to remind of what being said before, then nothing gets done, nothing goes forward, nothing's progressing. It doesn't mean that what was said is something that is totally a terrible thing. Certainly it is a terrible thing. But the ability or the spiritual ability, the professional ability of the human being is to override that, whether for the time being or forever. But Siong apparently with MCA does not seem capable of being professional or having a higher spirituality to move forward in the relationship with the unity government. Next, we have people like Ramasamy, who has a new political party and coming down to say to the voters, don't vote for the unity government. But when people ask, who are they supposed to vote for? Well, I'm here not to campaign for any party. I'm just saying that unity government is not good. This is a very strange thing to say. Why doesn't Ramasamy put his own candidates? Now, if he were to support, let's say, PRM or other independent candidate, that's something else. But just to come down to bad mouth, and that's the term that we must use, the bad mouth, the politics of vengeance by saying that the unity government have not done this, have not done that, and this is certainly something which is not helpful to anyone. He doesn't even have any ideas like Siong to develop KKB or to develop Malaysia better. Most of their ideas cannot be actually implemented within the political and cultural context of Malaysia. And so, both of them, Siong and Ramasamy, were practicing what is called the politics of vengeance. They're asking the Indian community, look, they haven't helped you, blah, 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 and so then you must punish them. I think the politics of vengeance maybe have its own context, but as a human being living in a society, having a family, having relatives, having friends, having organization as our workplace, if we do not manage this idea of vengeance or this idea of discrimination as well as all these other aspects of life, then it is difficult for us to move forward, not only as a nation but also as a person to better ourselves. We can see that some of the Malay votes, especially in the police as well as their family, have shifted to the unity government. That shows that perhaps they too were tired of this idea of race and religious politics and look forward to the idea of a harmonious nation living in prosperity. Whereas the Perikatan Nasional is always suggesting the idea of race superiority, religious superiority, without any idea of progress. For them, if you have religious superiority, God will help you. I mean, these people who are Muslims, I don't know whether they read the Quran. The Quran says God will only help the people if the people help themselves. So if you don't have any idea, I'm not sure how God is going to help you to manage the economy, to manage the environment, to manage the health issues, to manage the homeless. How is God going to help you when all you do is cut down trees and buy Mercedes Benz for your leaders? This is something which certainly is done by these people who claim to be fighting for the poor, but in fact they are enriching themselves beyond the limitations of spirituality as well as dignity of existence of human being on this planet. Now, the KKB election has shown that UMNO and the DAP could work together, and I am very proud of this fact that we could manage a new future. Now, it doesn't mean that we forget what we call the sins of the past, but we need to identify and isolate the particular people or person that have created the sins, but not make it impossible for us to accept an entity like UMNO or DAP, and also to forge a new formula into the future. Now, if we do not understand how to do that, we are always equating one particular person saying this to a whole party, then it is very difficult for us to move forward. And so, in summary, I am very happy that the KKB election has once again shown to Malaysia that there is a great hope for us to be matured and not listen to the naysayers that keeps harping on the so-called failures of the unity government, when in fact time has shown that it requires patience as well as tolerance in terms of understanding on where the nation is moving, a bit slowly but surely. Now, those who are unhappy, all those who are impatient, as well as capitalizing on this impatience and asking the rakyat to also be impatient so that they themselves, this particular personality, can have their pound of flesh. With that, I'd like to thank you for listening, and we must move forward as a nation, and it is up to us to actually make the right choice, the right decision, with the right mind, the right heart, and the right understanding of the context of our times, as well as the ability of our leaders to show compassion as well as understanding in their struggle to help all of us reach our great destiny together. Thank you.